Darren.
And this is the Flat Track Podcast. Right, bit of a different one today. Obviously, last couple of episodes we've spoke about Harry being back at Woodbank and a bit of a cricket chat. Got an episode coming up about his county career. But the Ashes start on Friday, so let's have a bit of an Ashes chat. So, first Ashes memory, H, as a fan?
I've got quite a good memory actually. I've got a video on my phone of me in a split screen with 𝗘𝗲𝗵𝗲𝘀 in leg spin from the 2002 Ashes series.
Yeah, it would have been before 2005.
Before 2005. I'll find the video out. We'll have to put it online.
Yeah.
It is a brilliant video. So that's probably maybe the first memory I have, but my first real watching it was 2005. I was hooked to the TV.
I think my first one is obviously I'm old enough to remember that 𝗘𝗲𝗵𝗲𝘀 delivery.
Yeah.
But I don't remember it in theory.
Yeah.
Because of I think I'd been about 6 or 7. But I think the earliest one I can remember was a really poor series for England at home, but Mark Butcher scored 170 odd not out at Headingley. I think it was either 97 or 99, and that was 97, where he batted brilliantly to win the game. And I think we were at Old Trafford for something else, and that was on.
I think very simple. I think my first memory was probably the split screen on Channel 4 where I had an interview and everything as a 5-year-old. But my first real actual memory that I remember properly was the 2005 Ashes series, but the Old Trafford test. We tried to go on, I think the first, second day, we couldn't get in, we got locked out, we got sold out.
Yeah,
didn't get any tickets, queued up for about an hour, and then they were like, nah, all tickets gone, and we had to trudge back to the car and go and watch it on TV.
That was a ridiculous series. So I think it was the �𝗘𝗶𝘀𝗲 one. I was away in Menorca with family. There was 20 of us gone. And I do not like the sun.
Yeah.
I am ginger.
Yeah.
I burn.
He burns well.
Yeah. Even on a windy day playing away at Edgerton or something like that, I'll burn. But I just remember I'd got burned very quickly on one of the days and found a bar that had the cricket on. I was just that's me set up for the rest of it.
Yeah.
So that was an unbelievable test. And then obviously the Old Trafford one, I didn't even bother trying to get tickets for it because of how bad it was. It might have
even been the last day, but it was there was tickets available. I think it might have been the last day because we went to the last day.
Yeah.
It might have been the last day, but whatever day it was, we went to go, and it was chaos. We didn't get anywhere near.
It's ridiculous, but I think obviously that test series was good. The one where Panesar and Anderson saved the game at Cardiff. That was
2009?
Yeah, I think.
I always remember the 2013 where Ian Bell scored millions. He just kept getting hundreds.
Yeah, and then
with his red and yellow cooker, I think it was he used.
But then, that was that one. So obviously 2009 because it was Flintoff's final.
Yeah.
Final. So
he ran Ricky. Did he run Ricky Ponting?
He ran Ponting out of the Oval. Direct it.
Yeah.
He got 5 for at Lords.
Yeah.
Missed a couple of tests, then played the last one.
Yeah.
And then obviously you've got the series, obviously down under, where England won an absolute cancer in 2010, 2011. I was watching the video of Mitchell Johnson walking out to bat, and the Barmy Army just singing at him.
Yeah.
And then he gets knocked over first ball by Tremler, and you're like,
Is that the test where he chirps Jimmy Anderson about not getting any wickets, and he bowls someone the next
No, I think that's the same series.
Is that the same
series?
Yeah.
But that was just ridiculous.
Yeah, I remember. I wanted the Ryan Harris delivery to Cook in not that series. Would have been maybe 2013. I don't know.
2013-14 when we got 5-0.
Yeah, when he bowled that ball that he bowled to Cook in might have been first ball of one of this first ball of the innings. Pitched on middle and nicked off a off stump.
Yeah, well, it's was it Rory Burns against was it Cummins or Start?
Boring out, yeah. No, I've got. Obviously, there's a lot of memories, isn't there? Lots of Ashes. It is the greatest series, and in cricket, I suppose. And there's a lot of memories, like we were talking then again about Warren's ball to 𝗘𝗽𝗶𝘀𝗲 century, and then fast forward to Stokes hitting, knocking off.
Yeah, that
needing 129 we needed, something like that, and he not.
Yeah, it was. Well,
he came in or something like that.
Ridiculous. He ended up obviously like 135 not out.
Yeah.
That was it a Sunday or a Monday?
Sunday. It was a Sunday.
Yeah, because you'd have been playing, didn't you?
Definitely a Sunday.
No, but yeah. Well, then where it's like, I think I was listening to it on the radio, like, whilst playing outside with the kids. And I'm thinking, well, Leach is going to get out quick. Best thing you can do, try and make sure he gets a bit of the strike.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden it started coming down, and I think there was the ridiculous switch hit.
For 6.
That went for 6, and you just start to think, oh, if he keeps the strike here, this could be ridiculous.
We were playing. I think we played Derby in the Blast on a Sunday afternoon at Grace Road, and it was obviously it's a bit of Derby. It's a bit of a Derbyshire. It's a bit of a Derby, and I remember there was quite a few in. It was a lovely Sunday afternoon. There was quite a few on watching, and as the sort of game, and it was a good game. Our game was going to the death, and you could see people leaving, and we were watching like, is everyone leaving? And then you realised no one was leaving. People were just going to the bar or to the closest TV so they could see what was going on. And every time, sort of, when he started hitting boundaries, there was a bit of a murmur, and then as it got closer, the celebration started getting louder until the point where we need like 20 to win, and even like the people on the dugouts, and then even the lads who are out there playing are like, what's going on? Like more interested in what's going on than what's actually going on in the game. And then next thing, so when he runs, you just hear a massive cheer, and everyone's like on the pitch. He's like obviously like realised that England have won that test from an absolutely ridiculous position.
Yeah, it was just unreal, and the video of it still, like, the minute he hits that ball, it's still one of the things where it's like, that sends goosebumps across my arm with it, because it is ridiculous to think that like he's done that, and that man's now going to lead us into Australia and try and win that.
We were at the PCA dinner at the end of that season that it happened. There was like 6-7 of us from Leicester. We were at the PCA dinner, and a lot of the England lads were there, and Jack, there was a picture, the iconic picture of him like hugging, like Stokes was behind him, Leach hugging him. Leach bid on that picture like at auction on something ridiculous. Like, I'm talking a lot of money to get that picture.
As he should. It's one of the greatest pictures ever.
Yeah, it's brilliant. Like I say, brilliant game. I think that's probably been like the advert for not the Ashes over the last few years, is that the Test series have been tight. I mean, I know we've not managed to win one for a while, but there's been draws, and it's been good. Like,
it's been good value cricket to watch. I mean, like, you look at like the 2023 series at home, like, all right, fine, we didn't end up winning it, but what a series it was in terms of everything that went on with it. Like the Old Trafford game, the Bairstow like moment with Alex Carey, and the decision to declare on the first day at Edgbaston. It was a really entertaining series, and it sounds stupid, but I sort of hope, regardless of what happens in Australia, that it is as entertaining as that, because sometimes we go over there and we'll either be really dominant or we're really crap.
I feel like Australia at the minute, their batting lineup is in a similar place to what ours was in the first test, or the Edgbaston test in 2019, when we were like obviously opened the batting with Jason Roy, and and sort of Moeen was like come back, and there was like a bit of a, it wasn't our great, our England's batting line was pretty sound at the minute in terms of the openers, and obviously it's the case for 𝗘𝗽𝗶𝘀𝗲 to be playing, and Pope, and there's only sort of that spot that's sort of up for grabs, I'd say, at the minute. Whereas I think Australia's batting line at the minute is, I don't necessarily think they know whether who's gonna. I know they've obviously put Weatherald in. Labuschagne obviously scored some runs recently, but white ball cricket's a lot different to an Ashes red ball series.
I saw that where he's got like 4 runs, like 5 knocks.
Obviously Matt Smith's like ridiculously good, but then obviously Kawhi just coming towards the end of a brilliant career, especially he's been brilliant in an Ashes over the last few years. I feel like they're where we were probably 5-6 years ago in terms of trying to find our best batting lineup, and I think for us to win, for us to win it there, I think it'll rely a lot on our batting.
Yeah.
If we can just, I know they're going to play the way they want to play, and I actually think it's really entertaining. It's actually made me get back into watching Test cricket again because we've been pretty good over the last few years. But I think there's probably go and play, but there's been moments over the last couple of Ashes series that we've come out Australia have come out on top of them, and it's meant that they've sort of either retained the Ashes, not necessarily won the series, but drawn it. Whereas I feel like if we can get into those moments and win those moments that matter in the series, I think we'll win it.
I think that you're right in terms of the Australian batting lineup. What did make me laugh was how focused Steve Smith is on his golf. Have you seen that when he was batting the other week?
No.
He's batting in is it Sheffield Shield or whatever it is, and he's just stood at the non-strikers end and he's practicing his golf swing.
I do that sometimes.
No, but on a few occasions, but it's like no man looks more relaxed than him at the moment.
Yeah.
He's literally like, "Yep, there you go. I'm just going to play some golf shots while stood at the non-strikers end." And I think that it's obviously one of them where they're a good unit. Some of them are coming towards the end of the career, but I think that the England side that we've got at this moment, I think, if we can bat well, we'll win it.
I feel like we've always gone to sort of, to Australia in an Ashes series and never really taken them on. We've always sort of tried to survive a little bit, and I think the way that the way they're playing the current cricket is, I think it's, if you want to win an Ashes series, I think currently, you've got to go the 2 bowlers down already. Cummins going to miss the first test. 𝗘𝗲𝗃𝗀𝗀's going to miss the first test. What a time they're going to bring in a 𝗘𝗵𝘀𝗀𝗃 in obviously Doggett. I think they're going to have Boland, Stark, and have Lyon. What a chance! And obviously then they're going to have probably one of Cameron Green or Bo Webster. What a chance for England to win the first one and put them on the pump by taking on a sort of what I'd say is probably an inexperienced sort of bowling attack. I think they've got an unbelievable opportunity to, and I think that actually puts, although we're in Australia, I think it does put a bit more pressure on, on the England team with them. England, they'll go there and they've pretty much got everyone fit, whereas, Australia's captain and probably the one who's probably bowled the best over the last sort of year or two is, for Australia in Hazelwood, out injured. So, I don't know, I just feel like it's a great opportunity for England to go there and just stamp their authority on the Test series early and come out of that first test with a win. How good would it be, winning Perth?
I think, to set the tone and to get a win would be great. I think it's one of them where it's like, you look at the squad that's gone out there, they're all fit, assuming nothing happens in the next couple of days. The worry for me when I saw the squad was looking at it going, obviously with both Jofra and Mark Wood have had their injury worries. How will they both cope in terms of that? But I think batting wise, I think we know what people are going to do, and you look at the way that we play, and it makes me laugh because I see all these Australian podcasts where they go, Bazball shit, Bazball's this. Fair play. They invented it many, many years ago with Gilchrist and Hayden, etc., but they just didn't call it Bazball. So they can't call it shit because you wanted it.
No, I think that with Australia's team at the minute, it is, I'd say, there's quite a few gaps in their team and who's going to play, especially in the batting order. England's batting order, is pretty much set. The bowling is a worry, but isn't, because I feel like we've got a lot of bowlers with a lot of extra pace, and I think you need that in Australia at times.
Yeah, no, I agree with that.
You look at the attack that when we whitewashing, when 𝗘𝗏𝗃𝗀𝗀𝗃𝗀𝗃 played, it was extra bounds. When we had a really good attack, and this now you got Archer's back. I think you've got Mark Wood, Cars, Tong. You've got some really bowlers who were who were going to run in hard and hit the pitch and make it uncomfortable. I think that's the word for. I think you've got to make Australia uncomfortable in their own backyard, because that's what, when Australia are at the best, their bowling attack's the best, they do that to us here.
Yeah, I agree with that. I think that the pace in that bowling attack is frightening.
Yeah.
And then you look at it and you go, for me, I'm worried about the fact of that we've taken only one out-and-out proper spinner in terms of 𝗘𝗶𝘀𝗶𝘀.
But does that not say a lot in what I think? To me, I'm reading between the lines. That says a lot to me in thinking what pitches are they going to prepare in Australia?
Yeah, no. I think they would have tended to have prepared pitches that have been quick for themselves.
Yeah.
I think with what's happened the last couple of days of being injured, it would not surprise me if they try and tailor a pitch more to suit Lion.
Yeah.
And which is then when 𝗘𝗫𝘀𝗶𝘀 comes into it.
But the problem is, if that goes wrong, for him, it's hard to, from 5 days out, to doctor a pitch.
Yeah.
Like, I saw a picture of the MCG pitch, which we're still 5-6 weeks away, and it looks green. I know it's early to say, but like I say, it's interesting as well. They've moved the first test away from Brisbane, which is usually has a tinge of green in it, and usually swings around to Perth. Obviously it was moved before these injuries occurred, but I just have a sneaky feeling that if you try to doctor too much, that like I say, I'm all for having a home ground and home advantage, but sometimes it can bite you in the arse a little bit, and I just think I think England expect a lot of the pitches are going to be have a little bit in them, and I think that's the reason why they've only taken one.
Yeah, no, and you've got people who can bowl part-time spinners,
and it says to me a little bit as well that they're going to try and fit Bethel in there, so I'm going to play him as a spinner.
Yeah, I'll be honest, I'm not totally sold on him.
Yeah.
In terms of, I've not yet watched him have a good innings when he's been batting, but I get why they're trying him. I get it, but I'm not yet sold on him. So I don't know.
He's obviously a very, very talented player. Like, he's a very talented lad, and he's only young. And I think he's shown glimpses, and I'm excited. I hope he does play, because I think England need that next. Obviously batting wise, Duckett's not necessarily young. Crawley isn't young. Harry Brooks, probably the youngest. Root's not obviously coming. He's close to the back end of his career. He needs to start. Stokes. So I'm sort of looking at it, and obviously Pokes, mid to late 20s. Crawley is, Duckett is. Root's obviously 30 and above. I hope he plays, because you need them players now to stand up in not just this series but series to come, and they need to be exposed to it. And I feel like they take him to it and then not play him. It's a bit of a waste when although he's going to probably play the next one at home. You don't get that many opportunities to play in an Ashes series away, and when they do come, they're fast and furious.
Yeah, and it's like Stokes played him one when he was quite young, didn't he? Where he actually performed really well.
Yeah, it was the one where they got battered, wasn't it? Yeah. He was the only one who a couple came home. I think Trott came home on that one. Is that when Trott and Swan retired? Didn't he, that one? And
and he got 100 there, didn't he? Where he
what was it, Perth?
I think it was, and he looked really good, but he'd not had a run before then. So obviously, like I'm saying, I've not seen Bethel do anything for me to think, well, why is he playing? Yeah. But I think taking him, and if something comes off, and and he gets involved and he does well, then I've got no problem with that. I think that the thing for me is that it needs Roots to score runs, it needs Brook to score runs, and it needs Stokes to perform. Have you seen Stokes' wickets from the warm-up game?
Yeah.
Wow. Wow.
I saw someone tweet saying, I don't know whose decision this was to put this out on the ECB social, but whoever it is should not have a job or something like that. And I was like, yeah, they're not wrong. It's not. It's not exactly a great viewing, is it?
Well, that was it.
Unless it's sort of giving something away. I kind of feel if they're not getting wickets, you know what's going to happen, don't you?
Yeah.
They could have tried that. They could have tried bowling that halfway down and set it up.
Well, I looked at it. It came up saying, "Oh yeah, Stokes has got 6 for."
Yeah.
Oh, brilliant!
Yeah.
Watch this. Is he getting it to hoop? Is he getting it to this? Nope.
I watched the first two and was like, sure, there's got to be something coming here, and they were just all the same. Like, caught square leg, caught deep square leg, caught deep square leg, caught square leg.
What? Saturday?
Yeah. Like watching 𝗘𝗃𝗀𝗀𝗀 on Saturday.
Yeah, Wilkie got that 7 foot. But no, it made me laugh seeing that pop up. But obviously, I think if he stays fit, I think I think it'll be good.
I'd tell you what would be brilliant as well is if Root's got that elusive 100 in the first test and just shut everyone up. That'd be mega. Yeah, that would be brilliant.
He's one of them where it's like he is absolute class, and the fact that like he lives rent free in Australian minds because they are talking about so much how he's not done anything, not done anything. Like 13,000 runs. Yeah. Absolute class.
He's, at least the last few years, he's been unbelievable. Like the consistency and the amount of times he's pulled England out the shit with his runs or won games for England.
Yeah.
I do think he's been brilliant, and he's what I'd say now is he's probably England's greatest ever bar. People, that's it's controversial, but in Test cricket, you can't argue his stats.
No, the way he's performing in Test
50 over cricket as well.
Yeah, he's just been unreal. I think since probably about COVID, he's just been an absolute different gear in terms of his Test match batting. And I also think that,
and he's still got a couple of years left.
Yeah, massively. And you look at the standard of since I think McCullum's come in and they've started to play like Bazball.
Yeah.
And everything. I actually think that's helped him because everybody else has been playing freely. That has meant that there actually hasn't been as much pressure on him.
He can just stick around with that.
Yeah, and he doesn't score slowly.
No.
Anyway, so it works out quite well for him.
Yeah,
I think it'll be. I think it'll be an interesting series. I actually really want to do well with the battle there. I want Jamie Smith to score a shed load.
Yeah, that'd be
because obviously there's been so much talk about keepers for England over the years and the keepers that we've had, and obviously obviously to me the best keeper to have not played a Test for England over the last 10 years has obviously been 𝗘𝗏𝗀.
Yeah.
And look at everybody else who's obviously kept and that. And when they mentioned Smith, I'd never heard of him, didn't know who he was, and just looked at him batting and was just like, I like this. And I think he's a very, very good player. And I just want him to. I think his keeping will be fine. Yeah. Dependent on obviously sort of how quick the pitches are. Yeah. But I think he'll be fine. But I just want him to have one of them series where it's just like just make his mark as being a full on wicketkeeper bat. Yeah. And he looks.
He is I think that's the thing. Like with the England side at the minute, you have got that sort of the mix of experience and youth in terms of Brook, Smith, Bethel if he plays, Cars. But you've also got the experience, like Crawley's played a lot, Duckett's played quite a lot now, Stokes and Root obviously played a lot. Archer, another experienced cricketer. You've got there's a lot of experience, like I'd say, senior cricketers in there. That I think it's probably time for some of them to, step up in Australia. Not that they've not done because they step up when they're at home, but step up in Australia and win us an away Ashes series.
Yeah, I think that's right. I think he's.
What's your score prediction?
You know what? 3-1 to us.
3-1?
Yeah. I don't know why. I have a feeling that there might be one that will be a draw.
Yeah.
And I'm going to base that on if there's weather.
Well, I think there's a bit of weather around at the minute around the country from looking at local cricket in Australia and lads not playing. And I would tend to agree with you there. I think 3-1 is a fair assessment. I don't think there's going to be 2 rained off, but I think we'll win. And
I think it's 3-1 to us. But the thing that
there just isn't draws in Bazball cricket.
Yeah, no, there isn't. I think you don't get it.
I think there's only going to be a draw if it rains. I think that's been think from when he started, I don't think there's been many draws in Test cricket without rain.
They don't play to draw, do they?
No, exactly.
They play to either win or lose, and I think that's the beauty of it. And when you look at obviously this England squad, they could go over there and win 3-1.
Yeah.
And I can see them. I can see them losing one.
Yeah.
Because I just have that feeling of, and no one knows it. It'd probably be the first test.
Yeah.
It probably be that one of thinking, oh, they've not got these bowlers.
Yeah.
All right, and get embarrassed a little bit. But part of me looks at it and just goes, Australia are bound to win one.
Yeah.
Smith's going to score runs at some point.
Yeah.
And 𝗙𝗃𝗃𝗃 will score runs, and
all hit wickets on.
Yeah, and 𝗘𝗽𝗶𝘀𝗀, this is probably going to be his last series. He's going to, obviously, he's been class for the last couple of years from Manny, so he's going to want to try and go out on it well. I'm looking for, you know what I am looking forward to? I'm looking forward to Stuart Broad on commentary.
Yeah, I am.
That's going to be hilarious.
I feel like it's going to be on the wind up a lot. I think.
Yeah, I think there's a lot of them that'll be on the wind up. I think that
who's you with Channel 7?
I'm not too sure, but
I've just seen Channel 7.
But it's like the GOAT's doing TNT. Jimmy Anderson's doing TNT, so that'll be good. But yeah, just obviously it's a shame it's such a stupid fucking clock in the morning.
Yeah, I think that is the main issue, isn't it, for people back over here? Is the time I remember when there was, I think it would have been 2017-18 series because I was injured. I've just had a knee surgery. I remember being up because I couldn't sleep. I remember watching the first test, and I had so much hope going into the series, and after about 2 hours, hopes had gone, and I was just like, "Oh no, this is chaos." I remember we were like a couple down early, I think.
It's made me laugh the last couple of weeks seeing Instagram reels and TikToks where waking up at 7 a.m. on Friday to see that England are 121 for 8.
Yeah.
Just like, look, for fuck's sake.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, it's not going to be great.
And that'll always be the problem on it with England fans, is that we can be optimistic, but we can also be like over the top and be like, yeah, come on, we're going to win this. And like you say, you wake up and we've been rolled for like 90 and they're 150 for none.
Yeah.
On the first day, we're like, shit.
Yeah, it's funny.
Panic.
It is funny because I looked at what time obviously the first test starts, and I was just thinking, oh,
it's in Perth, isn't it? So it's
like I think it ends at 9:30 like Friday morning, the first day. I'm like, ooh, drop the kids off at school.
Yeah.
The last half hour in.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, there we go. But yeah, it's obviously I'm looking forward to it. I'd have been more looking forward to us doing this podcast if we'd have started it 2 years ago when it was obviously being played at home. We could have had a chat about it.
Yeah.
But I think that it's good.
Go on, what's your team for the first test then?
The Crawley, Duckett, Pope, Root, Brook, Stokes, Smith, Atkinson.
Yeah.
Archer, Wood, Bashir.
I think I tend to agree with you. I think going to Perth where it can use, and obviously I don't think they played a test at the new ground, have they? At the Optus Stadium. But obviously in the old Wacker, it was flat, wasn't it? It was proper flat. So I think a spinner would play it. I think because I don't think you can bat. I don't think you can get Bethel in and bat him at. Well, if you batting him, then it means that Smith's at 8, and then you're only playing
Archer, Wood, and Atkinson or Cass, as you see, with Stokes, and you've then got Root and Bethel to bowl the spin option, or they could ring Ollie Robinson up and get him to bowl spin as well, like he did the other year when he went over. He's over there.
I know he's over there now. I think that would be my only thing, is if Bethel's playing, he's probably batting at 7, and are you better off just playing? Are you backing your batting and just playing an out and out spinner rather than playing another all rounder? I don't know. Does that help the balance of the side?
That's who I would go for if it was me. I think that because I don't think in theory, like, it sounds a bit harsh, but Atkinson and Cars between two of them have done like nothing wrong in terms of the way they've played. Like, Atkinson got 100.
Yeah, and Cars played really well against like India this year.
Yeah.
looked brilliantly. Obviously, Atkinson really didn't play much, did he? He had a few injuries, but Carr's pretty much played the whole series.
Yeah. And I think them two have obviously deserved to go. And you look at you're always bound to go with Wood and Archer if you've got them both available. Alternatively, do they look at it and go,
do they need to play together?
Yeah, exactly. I think that's where
I think they might play them both together, the first one, and then rest one of them for the second.
Yep.
I think might rest. Well, it depends if Wood feel. Obviously, he had the hammy scare as well, didn't he, last week? So, but yeah, I think that'd be my only thing is does Bethel bat at 6, 7 probably, and you play your 3 seamers with two part-time spinners and Stokes, or do you play an out and out 3 seamers and Stokes? And
I think you play out and out 3 seamers and then Stokes. That's the way that I look at it. But
or do they just go Pope for Bethel? I don't think they're going to drop the vice captain though. I don't think that's the first test.
Yeah,
after he just got off the back of 100 in a warm-up game as well.
Yeah, you can't really. I don't really think you can drop him. It won't surprise me.
Yeah.
But you can't really do that, can you? But it'd be interesting to see. But I think that either way, whatever squad you pick, there's enough.
There's options.
There's enough options. There's enough talent in there to win games.
Yeah.
Do you think Bazball would work in Australia in terms of on those decks?
Yeah.
The way that they play.
Yeah.
Because
the way I look at it is look how England played there the last since they won it from the last time we won there. If you look at the way that England have played, or what I can remember the way they've played there, they've gone out to survive, and that's not worked. So why do the same thing again?
Yeah.
Why not take the game on? Everyone, people watch it and see on Facebook and swear on. Why have you played that shot? Why have you done that? And granted, people have opinions, and granted, it might not be the greatest time, it might not be the greatest shot, but why would you do something? Why would you do what you've done already there for the previous 2 or 3, 4 test series and come away losers? Why would you do the same again? Why would you not try and change something? Mix it up, play a different way, try and be different. Because what have you got to lose if you can't win anyway?
Yeah, no, it makes sense. I think it works. And I saw something where somebody was saying what worries them is the size of the grounds in Australia. Bazball won't work because they'll get caught on the edge, they'll do this, they'll do that. They hit it miles anyway. It's not a problem.
I'm sure that there, and it makes me laugh, chuckle this a lot. You see it in league cricket when some clubs who play young grounds in smaller leagues go to say for example a lot of smaller grounds in the GMCL. When they play teams maybe in the Lancs League in the Lancs knockout on a Sunday on what I would say usually are bigger grounds. And you do see that. You do see teams struggle to play on smaller grounds because the boundaries are bigger and they used to play in on smaller grounds. They find it harder to score boundaries, 4s and 6s, and they're not used to having to rotate the strike a bit better because they have to on bigger grounds. But these boys are the best of the best. They're elite cricketers. I'm sure they can work out that this ground's a bit bigger. Might just have to hit it on the floor a bit more. You're not talking to
just have to rein it in.
You're not talking to Woodbank's first team who play club. We're talking about the best cricketers of probably 2 of the strongest nations in the world going head to head in a Ashes series. I think they're probably going to work out that the grounds might be slightly bigger. We might just have to curve our trying to hit 60s as hard. Then again, they might not.
Yeah, no,
but I'm sure.
But
I'm sure, if they need to, I'm sure they're skillful enough and clever enough to do that.
Just made me laugh when I'd seen it on somewhere where they were talking about it, saying, "Oh yeah, do you reckon Bazball will work because they'll get caught on the edge because the grounds are bigger?" I was like, "They're professional cricketers."
And actually, when they go to Adelaide, it's not that big square. Adelaide, Perth or the Optus Stadium obviously fairly big. The G's a big ground. The SCG, so that playing at Old Trafford's a big ground.
Yeah, exactly. And there's a number of big grounds that they played on, and I'm sure it'll be fine. But it just made me laugh because I was just like, "Why?"
Anything to curb, anything to. And do you know what? Genuinely, again, this is people, younger cricketers, people watching England now enjoy watching Test cricket because of Bazball, right? There's some older, the older generation don't find it as entertaining because sometimes they do play reverse sweep and get out, or they play stupid shots, and that's where cricket's changing.
Yeah,
that's where cricket is changing, and I think sometimes there is maybe a bit of an agenda against the way that England play at times because the older generation just don't see fit why they need to play that. When again, why do we have to be the same? Be different to win a game of cricket. There's more than one ways to win a game of cricket.
Yeah, and it's like when me and you obviously spoke about the 100, and I said to you how I don't like it for, certain reasons. But I've got to accept that that is the way cricket is. To me, because we spoke about previously, saying about the 100, I said to you that I would have rather just focused more on the T20, making that into something similar to the IPL instead of creating this new thing. But I can see why it's there. But then you talk about, like, obviously, that's me thinking I want T20 cricket to be like that. But also, the way that they're playing Test cricket at the moment, I can see why older generation don't like it. Much like I don't like the.
No one can tell me that they'd rather sit there all day and watch someone get 100 off 300, 250, 260 balls with 4 boundaries and loads of ones, or a route 100 where, again, he still plays proper cricket shots, but he gets 100 off 150, 160 and it's entertaining and he's got someone at the end who's looking to score. Like, I'd call myself a traditionalist. I love watching red ball cricket and I love playing red ball cricket, like Test cricket or, timed cricket, let's call it. But you can also be a traditionalist and still enjoy the way England play.
Yeah, no, exactly. And I think that, but it's our nature to moan, isn't it?
Of course it is.
But I think it'll be, I think it'll be a very good series, and I think that it'll be entertaining. And obviously, we've got a few friends that will be over there watching it.
I'm gutted I'm not there. I've never been in Australia. I've been 3 times, but I've never actually been there when it's been an Ashes series, and I'm really gutted because I can imagine it'd be brilliant. Imagine winding up all the Aussies, telling them the shit. Even though they're not, even though they might not be, just telling them that, like, the crap.
Yeah,
brilliant.
It's the thing of, like, obviously, 2 of the people that have gone over that we know that, they don't say boo to a goose, so that's going to be useless. You'd be getting well involved. It's like, I think that, like, obviously, I've never been. My old man did. It was either 2003 or 2007, I think. Boxing Day Test. He was over for a wedding over there, so all the family went over to that, and it was just like, he said it was just ridiculous. I was like, cheers for that. You really rubbed that in. Cheers.
I've like I said, I've been 3 times. I've done Boxing Day twice. Did it against Pakistan, but it rained after about 3 hours, and everyone went home. And then did it against India. I think it was India. I think it was. Or was it West Indies? Can't remember. I've been to I can't remember, but they're great games.
Yeah,
brilliant.
It always looked really good as well.
Brilliant.
And I think that obviously, like, a few of our lot are going over for a few games, aren't they? So they'll get a few of the games in.
I'd love to do it and sit with the Barmy Army as well. I'd love to do that. An Ashes series with the Barmy Army.
Yeah, it just looks class.
Again, just giving the Aussies a bit of shit. We've had enough of them over the years because, for as long as I can remember in my lifetime, Australia have dominated us for most. Well, not dominated, but they have got the better of us. There's been a lot of times where they've won, and we've received a lot of shit off them. But I would love to be there, especially if you're winning, just giving it them back because he won't have anything to say.
Well,
you can just tell them living in the past. It's a bit like Liverpool United and City United at the minute.
Is it the one where Bumble was on commentary and a few years ago when England were over and did absolutely hammered the Aussies, and he gets to towards the end of the day and he goes, Australian fans have come as fancy dress, 75,000 empty seats.
Yeah.
And it's like, you'd love to be in that.
Yeah.
You'd love to be in that environment.
Definitely.
To be having a laugh with it, and it always obviously looks class. I think that
it's all good natured as well. Like, if I think when I've been there in Australia 3 times, the Aussies give it, but I do think that they accept that every now and again they're gonna have to take some shit back because they give us enough.
Yeah, and I think like when obviously we've had Aussies over, like people that have played over here, etc. You get the grief off them. You give it them back. And you can have that banter with them. And I think then, but to me, is it that cricket is their first sport? So they take a great deal of pride in thinking that they're the best to do it. Do not get me wrong. For 30 odd years, it was like they've had some incredible players, and cricket has changed massively since then. I mean, like 2005, when obviously Hayden, Langer, Ponting,
Martin, Clark,
Michael Clark, Gilchrist, McGrath, Warren, Gillespie, etc. You look at that's class. Not to mention the fact of the War brothers, in like years gone by. Yeah, they've had very, very good cricketers. But over the past few years, we've had some very, very good cricketers as well. And some of our very good cricketers have been unlucky that they've sort of had to retire early with injuries. To me, like Flintoff's still one of the greatest cricketers I've ever watched, and how he didn't end up with more runs, more wickets because of injuries, ridiculous. You look at like the way KP played over there. So watching that video the other week from.
But if you look at both of those players who've done well in Ashes series, those two players you named, they take the game on.
Yeah.
They're aggressive cricketers. The ball, they're in your face. That's how you've got to win. That's how you've got to play cricket in Australia to have any success, I think. There's no point going there and hiding. You're there for an Ashes series. To take them on.
Just have a done.
It's like one of my... when we were talking about memories, one of my memories that I still watch back now is when Simon Jones gets Michael Clark and he leaves it and the wicket makes that noise like grink. It is the best noise I've ever heard in cricket.
It's that was Old Trafford. That was unbelievable.
He leaves it and the wicket goes cartwheeling back. The noise it makes and you hear the roar as well. It is incredible.
That was like an unbelievable wicket to take as well. That time with the way the game was and how it had reverse swung.
Yeah,
and it's just like and I think that it's moments like that that make you remember why you enjoy watching Test cricket. Test cricket to me for years was boring.
Yeah.
Until obviously 2005, great. We went over there, got absolutely battered.
It's never good watching yourself get dicked, is it either?
Yeah.
No, you never want to watch your nation get battered. So everyone usually turns it off. Well, I do anyway.
Yeah, and then like the next time they came over, obviously we won, and then we won over there. So it had started to get more interest with it, but then I do think there was a bit of a lull afterwards, until obviously like Brendan McCullum's come in and made us play cricket in a different way and show no fear with it. I think it's going to be a really good series, and like I say, I'm going 3-1.
Yeah, I'm going 3-1 as well.
But yeah, who do you reckon's going to get most runs?
Root.
Joe
Root.
Just
Root.
I say I wouldn't. I think Root or Brook for most runs by an Englishman. Although I would love for Jamie Smith to get a shot.
Joe Root is going to get the most runs by 150 runs. That's my prediction for the series.
Cool. Yeah, and get 100 over there so they stop them all from.
He's going to have 200s, one daddy 100 as well, like one big one, like a 180, 100, and he's going to be the leading run scorer by 150 runs.
I'm going to clip that, and we'll remind him whether that happens or not.
Right, okay, sound.
Yeah.
Right, perfect.
Who do you reckon's going to get most wickets then?
I would have said Hazelwood, but if he misses the first test, I think it's hard to miss a test and then still end up. I'm going to go Archer.
Part of me thinks Lyon will somehow end up with it. I mean, that's the.
I'm staying patriotic. I'm going both.
You can be patriotic. I'm just saying. I have a feeling that there's going to be one where it's just like he'll end up.
If Archer stays fit and plays most of the tests, I think he'll get a big leading wicket taker.
Yeah, I can see that.
Because I feel like his build up from his injury, everything's building up, like his rehab and everything from his injuries has built up for this series. I think he's going to be firing on like all cylinders. I hope he bowls at the speed of light. I want to see like Smith like jumping out the way and like
at Lords.
Yeah, no, but you know like Mitchell Johnson did against like when he bowled rapid in like 2000. I want Archer to do that to the Australian batters in Australia.
Yeah, it'd be class if he did, but I don't know why I can just see that there'll be one game where Lyon just seems to get a shed load of wickets and ends up being leading wicket taker. But I say, if Archer stays fit throughout it, I think he could be on with that.
I'd say Atkinson could be up there.
Atkinson, big.
I think so. Yeah, I think he's a very, very good cricketer, steady cricketer.
But it's all good. But right, so this episode we'll do it so that it comes out the morning of the first test. So we'll do that one. So then we can look like dicks in like a couple of months' time when we got this completely wrong.
Yeah, excellent. I love making a bold prediction.
Yeah, you've gone bold.
3-1. Root most runs, Archer most wickets.
For anyone, I'll go Brook for most
Right.
runs. I'll go Brook for most runs. And I'm going to go out the series. I'm going to go Lyon's going to get most wickets. So, right. I've been Chris Murray,
I'm Harry Dearden.
and this has been the Flat Track Podcast. Enjoy.
Cheers.
Cheers.
Like and subscribe.
Just the winding us up.